Welcome to another episode of VGN Weekly. Members of the Virtual Grip crew will recap the previous week's races and bring us one-on-one interviews with racers, league owners, and commentators, as well as others from within the sim racing community. Please like and subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of our broadcasts. If you are a league owner or potential sponsor and have a broadcasting need, please visit virtualgrip.net for info on how to get in touch with us. Thanks for tuning in today. Now let's go find some grip.
As the Virtual Grip Network gears up for another week of action-packed racing, let's take a look back at last week's winners. The OBRL Yesteryear Racing Cup Series would head to Worldwide Technology Raceway for the second race of Round 1 of the playoffs, where Andrew Kotska would lead 127 of the 130 laps and claim his 7th win of the season and lock himself into Round 2 of the playoffs. Triple Bypass Racing's ARCA Series showed plenty of green flag racing, with Alan Kunman taking the lead from pole winner Adam Bosey on the first lap. He would then lose the lead to Mark Herzog through pit strategy mid-race, however would gain it back later to take the checkered flag at 5 flags. Red Light Racing's Skidder Creek SK Modified Series visited Langley Speedway for 100 laps. Fred Leclerc would show speed early by taking the lead and holding it until a late restart where Josh Buckley would barely get his nose in front of Fred on the outside before the caution would come out, giving Buckley the lead. After a 3 green-white checker finish, Buckley would hold off Rob Higgins to win at Langley. Bootleg Racing League's Late Model Invitational Series would head to New Smyrna for the final race of the season. It would be James Lowe taking the checkered flag for his 4th win in a row. Kurt Smith would hold on to win the season 31 championship.
And welcome to VGN Weekly. I am your host, John Heyn, along with Josh Buckley. This week, we've got a couple of BRL drivers in here to kind of explain their shootout. They've got a big race coming up here this Saturday night. I've got Mike Holloway, and I got Matt Hoose. And man, I'm going to get this is going to be difficult to get through this and not call you Matt Holloway. And I think I've done that before, if I'm not correct, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
Now that I've got a Matt on the show, I'm screwed. So I'm just going to put that at the top of the show here. So welcome into the show, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I just want to start right off here. BRL, every year they do a Stone River Shootout, which is really cool. It's, something that's sponsored by former BRL driver Matt LaVenture and Stone River Outfitters, which you can go check them out online, by the way. And the first question I'm going to have, guys, this is a non-points race, and and I'll go to you, Matt. The format, it's a unique format. It's just not open to everybody in the BRL community. Run me off the format off the top of your head here.
Well, I know we do a preliminary race, or whatever they call it, a shorter race to qualify people into the race. That you need to be a past champion, or I think this year Lowell added a race winner also. But if you haven't done that, you need to qualify your way in the qualifying race. And then we do lone qualifying, which we kind of call each driver out to run 2 laps. And so that's all done single car qualifying, which is a cool aspect to it that we don't normally do. And then you had talked about, I believe you talked about it. Anyway, we do pit stops in this race, which is not your normal BRL lineup, which I particularly am not good at. That part of strategy. I trust my teammate there, Mike Holloway. I kind of follow what he does when it comes to pit strategy. But it's a race that I definitely look forward to every year. And it's awesome that Stone River has continued to do this every year for the guy. It's great. It's, out of all the races and championships I've won at BRL, this shootout is one that's always on the top of my list, and I was finally able to do it last year. So I was really happy with that, that I was finally able to get that achievement done. And, I'm just glad to be able to run it again this year. I actually took the night off work ahead of time to be able to run this race. So it's something I look forward to doing.
Well, Mike, let me take it to you here real quick. Then, it's not a points race. So for you, you've been around BRL. Uh, I don't even want to try counting the years because I'll run out of fingers. You've been around for a while here. For you, where does this land on the list of things that you look forward to, or I know you've had success in this race too, haven't you?
I have. I won it one time, and I think I beat you. Um, it was real of a lucky win, but yeah, I did win it one time. This is actually one of my favorite races of the year. I don't know why. I just really like the format. I like the concept of it. Kind of a, I mean, it's an all star type deal. So it's always fun. I think I've only missed one, maybe two throughout the years. So I look forward to it.
For you guys, the first thing is, and I'll stick with you here, Mike. It being a non-points race, and I don't want to say it's for fun because there's a lot of bragging rights that goes
Yeah,
along with this. Because I think everybody who's in it kind of wants to have that, on their in their resume, should I say?
sure.
Um, but how does your race strategy or how you drive, how does that change being, you don't have to worry about the points. You fence it. Yeah, you come back next year, try again.
I don't know. It really doesn't change anything for me because I mean, throughout the seasons, I don't really points race anyways. So, I just approach it like any other race that, I go to every race and I come there, I want to win. So that's how I approach this one. There's really nothing different for me. I think it's a little bit longer. Don't we run like 25 more laps or something like that, if I remember correctly?
Yeah.
So your tire management's probably a little bit different. You probably want to wait for your actual go time, really start heading to the front a little bit later. But other than that, I don't really change strategy on it much.
How about you, Matt? Does it bring anything? I mean, do you race any differently, knowing that hey, this is a one-off kind of deal?
Well, I don't know. I mean, because you're trying to win, like Mike says, you want to win the race. And so I guess the keys to me is you need to be there at the end. And so you're trying to, like, if you mess up in qualifying, whatever, and you end up in the back, like with this one, if I remember correctly, I think where you qualify is where you start in this race, I believe, which BRL usually does the inversion. So if you screw up in qualifying, you got to start in the back. You might race a little harder to try to get through traffic, but now you're throwing in a pit stop. So you kind of have that in the back of your mind. But I think as far as, um, with me and the late models, which this year we're doing the late models, those are my Achilles heel. Uh, I I have not been able to figure out the tire wear on them cars. So I'm pretty much going to approach this one as just run it as hard as I can from the beginning and just see what happens, I guess, because my strategy really sucks in these cars. So,
Go ahead, Josh.
That honestly is really steering into the question I have. Being able to watch some of these BRL races, this late model, I am not very familiar with it. I've gotten to run a little bit with it, but watching you guys race this past season, some people can't seem to figure out these tires, and I see people not being able to finish the race because they're blowing up that right front. So that was really going to
Yeah.
be my big thing. You're going 125 laps instead of 100. Southern National, it's a fun track, but I mean these cars will wear out their tires. Having that extra set, which you guys aren't used to, and then on top of it, qualifying. Obviously, I'm more familiar with qualifying with the way my league runs. We do qualifying basically how you guys are doing it with a single car 2 lap qualifying. What I've learned is qualifying is very huge. I know you guys are saying you're really not putting a little, any more emphasis on it, but do you focus on qualifying a little more, maybe trying to practice those 2 lap runs? Because obviously, where you start is going to probably dictate how you run as much. So I was just curious, mentally, are you guys going in for qualifying any more focused on that because you don't normally do that, or like you guys were saying, are you just letting it ride?
Um, for me, it's just the letting it ride thing. It's I'm gonna do the best I can in qualifying, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to try to find that really fast lap because, like you had mentioned, Southern National, in my opinion, Southern National is one of the better tracks on the service um, because it's a multi-groove track. You can, at certain points of the race, the high line might work better, the bottom line works better. So I think you really have more options at this track to make passes. So I don't think it's as important to start up front as it would be if we were racing at some single groove tracks.
I'm kind of the opposite. I put quite a bit into qualify, and I'll spend a lot of practice working on race runs, then spend 5 minutes or something just out there trying to put down the biggest Mac Daddy lap I can, because track position's not key at Southern National. Like Matt said, there is passing here. You can make passes, but I'm also a fan of, I don't want to start in the back no further than I have to, because to get to the front, that's less work I have to put into it, and more tire saving, that more opportunities to save tires. So I put a little more on qualifying and try to find that good lap that'll get me as far to the front as I can.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just because, especially with the way the late model is tire wear, if you're not having to chew up your tires as much early in a race, I
Right.
think that's going to be huge. But it also dictates when you, depending on how a caution falls, if a caution falls, it might also dictate when you take tires, and
Right.
and all that stuff. So definitely, I think qualifying does have a little more to it, or at least I've learned as of late. Just like you said, spend 5 minutes just running 2 lap runs, figure out which lap is going to be your faster lap, and then just utilize that lap to get the fastest time you can.
Correct.
You guys have done this for a while and whatnot. We talk a little bit about strategy and the car and the track, being Southern National. But, we've done this at Southern National now for quite a few years in a row. And do you guys have a favorite memory of running this thing? I'll start with you, Matt.
Well, it's kind of a recent memory. It's just last year. I mean,
Winning it.
was winning it, finally after, 9 seasons or whatever, finally getting that win was was great, and then to be able to win it the way that my race did last year. Um and I'll be honest, I went back and watched it probably 3 or 4 times the race because I was up front. I started in the front, spun myself out, went to the back, got back to the front again, threw some wrecks and all that stuff, wound up on this front again, and decided to start on the outside with 2 laps to go from on the restart, and won it from the outside with 2 laps to go. So it was a really good race, a fun race. So I mean, that would be probably my best memory of that
How
that
about you,
series.
Mike?
Well, one of my not so great memories was last year when I had it won and some clown came out of nowhere and beat me. But my favorite, remember, Lowell will get mad if I don't tell the story. He tells it all the time, so I'm going to tell it for him. I don't like telling it, but my favorite memory was one year was when we was running the Tour Modified in this race, I think, and I showed up late. Got there, practice was over. Lowell literally held qualifying. They're about done with qualifying. He held it. Everybody's done. He's like, "We'll let you take one run." I was like, "Okay, cool." I go out there and I put it on the pole, then go out and lead every lap of the race and win it. So, zero practice, none whatsoever, none. Qualifying was my practice.
Well, that's awesome. That also probably shows you had quite a bit of experience in that particular car. I'm going to bet probably agreed with you quite a bit to
Not
do
as
that.
much
But
as you would think.
wow, that's nice. I've yeah, I've been there. We're hopped in a server and banged one out, and yeah, I usually sit there for a moment going, I'm not sure how that just happened, but retrospective one of I think I've done that a couple of times, like in different leagues and whatnot. I actually have thought, you know what, it was probably better that I didn't get practice just because I came in and I didn't have time to overthink it. I don't know how many times I've gone into a practice and laid down a lap in practice, go, like early on, like first couple laps on the track, and then I'll never hit that time again. I'll try, I'll do all kinds of things. I'll go in, reset the car. I'll never get back to that time again, and I've never figured out why that works that way or what. But um, at least maybe that for that particular time there for you, that's one of those kind of deals that worked in your favor.
Sure.
Um, you know, through the years in this doing, and some of the the champions, you've got the race winners, because I think it was Mike, you're the one that mentioned that it's kind of like an all-star race.
Mhm.
And there's some folks that are going to be in there that you might not have seen in a long time on the track here. So, well, how about from that aspect, when some of these, maybe some of our past champions come into that race, and that may not be in the league or moved on from the league or whatever. Uh, what's it like racing those guys again after maybe a long period?
Well, it's always nice to see them again. I think a few years ago we had Jeff Sharp came back and ran with us a little bit in this race. So um, I'm not sure if JR is coming this year or not, but um, it's always nice to see those guys. You like to see the old guys and kind of catch up and get a few minutes to, hey, what are you doing now and stuff like that. So
How about for you, Matt? I knew I was going to get that screwed up at some point. How about you, Matt?
Um, yeah, I kind of agree. I agree with Mike on that. I guess it's the one guy that I wish would come back. Which, if he's out there watching, he needs to get back here. Is our sponsor of this race is Matt
I'll venture.
LaVenture. He taught me a lot. Him and I used to be teammates in the past, and we worked together. He used to spot for me in different races, um, and all that. And so he would be one I would love to see back on the track again, at least for this race. So if you're out there, get back in here.
Yeah, it would be cool to see Matt back out there. He was quite the wheelman back when he was here, because I remember he was one of those guys that were good on the asphalt side of things. If I remember correctly, he was one of those guys that was good on the dirt side too.
yeah, he was.
And there's probably a handful of guys that I think fall under that category that can do both and whatnot. So hell of a wheelman. So Matt, yes, if you're watching, come back Saturday. Make yourself known here at VGN here and get on the track. So hey, Josh, you got a question?
Yep. So really wanted to ask this question just because this car seems to really be the Achilles for some people driving wise. So using the late model for this race, what are a couple things you like about the car, or what are some things you don't like about the car, and then you think you're really going to have to focus on? Obviously, other than the tires, everybody knows that right front. You're probably going to be trying to save that the best you can. But the car specifically, like for me, I think it's more of a challenge that I'm used to. So I was curious what your guys' thoughts were on the car. Start with Matt.
Um, I guess besides the tires, I really don't have a problem with the car. I love the late model itself. I like the way how it drives when the tires are good, but it's just it all comes down to that tire. I know you said besides that, but for me it is that right front that I just it's kind of weird how it happens. You just feel like the car's good, it's good, you got it handled, and the next corner you're shooting up the track. Your tire's gone. It's just it don't just slowly go away. It's just it goes from being good to crap. You're in trouble. So it that's just but in general, the car itself, it's a good car. Um, I I probably would have, personally, I wish we could have chose something different, but it's I'm
Which
just
car?
not,
Just out of curiosity, what car would you choose?
you know, you'd probably expect me to say the SK because that's my favorite car, but um, just something different, like like a truck or um, like the Arca, like we ran last year. Um, or not? Was it the Arca we ran last year? I think it was. It was the old Arca
The old
car.
Arca, yeah.
Yeah. And we have the new ARCA car. That's a fun car. That could have been something, that we had run. So I just, you know, I think something other than we all run on a normal basis, I think. So
Okay, so Mike, what's your take on the late model?
I love it. It's well, between it and the new Arca car, it's probably my two favorites on the service. And I agree with Matt that on everything except with one exception, I like the tires too.
you
I
would.
like I like playing tire strategy, and it's actually served me quite well. Um, Most of the late model wins I've had in the last couple of years has just been from tire management. So, and I also am a fan of the more the tires wear, the more I kind of like the way the car feels when you got to baby it a little bit and put a little more TLC on it. I like that. That suits my driving style more. So everything Matt said plus that.
And I will say Mike is very good at that tire management when it comes to late models. I always try to, like, if I get a chance, I'll follow Mike and try to do what he's doing, try to learn from him or whatever. Because for some reason he's able to do that, and I wish I could
Well, there's
do
a
that.
reason. We're just not going to talk about it here. So
Yeah, we'll talk about that in our team meeting.
our fellow competitors watch this. So.
Well, I'm one of those fellow competitors from time to time, and I'm here to tell you, I have followed Mike on the track and behind him and going, okay, what does he do? And all this kind of stuff. And I watch him just drive off. My tires still fall off. I have no, there's nothing more frustrating with that car. You're running with the pack and you're like, okay, these guys are taking care of the tires. I'll just run with them. I can feel myself not pushing it. I feel comfortable. Lap 75, lap 80, and all of a sudden they're gone. And it's like, and my car won't turn.
I think it was Wilkesboro we ran a few weeks ago, and after the race, everybody was talking about, oh, I got 5% left on my right front and 10%. And I'm just sitting over here like I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because I had like 48% left. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
I'll say the first witness I had to dealing with the tire wear with that car. Two things with that car, obviously tire wear. Biggest thing for me too is that nose. I mean, it's similar to the Arca car, but that nose. I'm telling you, I think I'm right behind, like right on the guy in front of me. Next thing I know, his rear end's getting jacked up. I'm like, I'm not that close. Like I didn't think I was. So that is definitely a challenge. But man, first time I did the late model, we actually ran into the tire issue was at Stafford, and I was running 12th. Not great. I wasn't figuring it out, and all of a sudden, halfway through the race, I'm seeing people, slowing down. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm thinking nothing of it, and all of a sudden, people are pitting, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, and someone says, just makes the thing. I think I blew a tire, and I'm like, wait, that, that's a thing now. And it was with this car. So I start backing up my corners. I'm like, I'm just gonna back it up, back it up. Next thing I know, instead of finishing like top 10 at best, I'm finishing third. I'm like, I'll take this. I should probably run
Sure.
that car more.
It's a fun car.
It is.
Yeah, 100%. It's a fun car, and it's just, I mean, you're right about the tire management. Some guys can get it, and it's just not about going fast too to conserve them. It's what line are you taking? How long are you letting the car roll in the corner? Where are you picking the throttle up? I think a lot of guys fail to realize that they can burn that right front off on corner entry just as much as they can on corner entrance. In fact, if you're getting a little aggressive and picking the thing up way too early, even though the car will allow you to do it, if you're sliding that right front across the track as you come up out of a corner, that'll eat your tire up quicker than overdriving the corners.
Oh yeah.
And that's as a dirt guy who likes to, in like a lamb, out like a lion kind of thing. That's where I get myself in trouble. Right
Yeah.
there, sliding that tire.
I see
I
a
got
lot
to
of people mashing the gas on the exit there. Like they're not like slowly getting into it. You just hear them just go full down, and it's like, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm some kind of rocket scientist, mechanical engineer or something and applied science to this. I figured it out by accident and more out of necessity. So it's just a matter of finding what works for you and
Yeah.
stick with it.
Yeah, I think the key, what I figure, I've gotten a whole lot better with the tire management, and the thing I learned, at least for me, is the straighter you're driving that car out, the better your tire management. So if you still got wheel in it and you're getting into the gas, coming out and slowly doing this as you come out of the corner, you're eating your tire up. You got to be as straight as you can before you get back to full throttle. If you're not full throttle and straight with that wheel, your tires are never going to last you. At least for me, that's what I figured out. So I think we might have lost Matt. So I was gonna, we talked about the car a little bit. I was gonna talk about the track too.
I
Southern
see Matt.
National. Oh, okay, Matt, you still there?
I was gonna say he's sitting right there.
He's right there. I mean,
I
he's
saw
been
him
here.
blinking.
On my screen, he disappeared.
Well,
Okay,
good news, he's there.
You don't
okay.
exist anymore, Matt.
Okay, see ya.
That's just weird. Okay, well, Matt, let me go back then and ask you the follow-up question here. And we're going to Southern National. So as a track, what do you think of the track? And is it, is that your first choice? Is it your second choice? What do you think of
Yeah,
the track? And if it's not your first choice, where's your first choice?
no, like I had mentioned earlier there, it is my favorite track on the iRacing service. It's because
I am
it's
not hearing him talk.
multi-groove.
So if he's talking,
It's
Oh, he's talking.
He said it is his favorite track.
that is
No,
weird.
just
Why I
keep going, Matt. I'll
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
you know when he's done talking.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, it's multi-groove. It is easier on your tires than some other tracks. So that's kind of why I like it too. It's not as severe of tire degradation to me. Um, but I think the biggest my liking of it is it kind of fits my driving style, and because the corners are a little longer, the higher banked, um, so it just kind of fits me. And I think the biggest thing is, like I said, the multi groove, the options that you have there, that you don't have to rely on just pinning it to the bottom of the track. I just like having those choices.
He's done now.
Okay, this is gonna be an awkward rest of this interview here, and um, real quick, Mike. How about for you then? If it's your track, what's your favorite one to go to?
It is not my favorite, but I do like Southern National. It's a fun track to race on. Um, if you ask me, we would run this race and every single league race we won at Martinsville, but nobody asked me, nobody consulted me about this. So, but I do like Southern National. It's fun. I think it's a good place to hold, an event like this, and it's served us well in the past, and I think it'll serve us well again next weekend.
Well, I tell you, I know I will compete in it in Southern National. It's funny, a lot of tracks I either like or tracks like a Langley that I just hate and loathe. But Southern National is one of those love-hate relationships. Either I have a really nice race there, have a lot of fun because you can pass, you got choices, or it's a complete disaster, either of my own doing or getting caught up in somebody else's doing. The one of the big challenges that are there, at least for me, is because you're carrying so much speed through the corner there. You carry a lot. You have to stay going fast, and that's the part that I always struggle there because high speeds equals tire wear, but high speeds also keeps you in contention. So that for me anyway, I like that challenge. So I mean, yeah, if anybody asks me, I don't mind going there, and I don't know if I'd have a favorite one to replace it, but for me, that's a part of the challenge I do like is just trying to carry all that speed through the center of the corner, and keep the car under you for the entirety of the race. So, but Josh, you got a question?
So I don't know if it's more of a question, but just kind of a thrown out to this, something that I kind of forgot about, kind of brought back up to me. This is also the celebration for Bootleg, if I am correct. It's a 31st anniversary. Basically, what
Mhm.
this race is for is basically celebrating the birthday of Bootleg. I don't know how many of you knew that, but I remember Lowell telling me about that a few days ago. So I just thought that was a cool thing. I mean, 31 years for a league. That is a long, long time. What do you guys think about that? Like that's in my mind, I've been running a league for what, 14 years. So, and I thought that was long, and 31, man, that's crazy. How long have you guys been here racing?
You want to go first, Matt?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, I've been with BRL since pretty much since they came to the iRacing service, since 2009 is when I got on here. So when they came on here, I know Lowell and I joined up and we did some work there and all that. So I've been with BRL for whatever it's been, 14 years that they've been on iRacing here. So or whatever it is, my math isn't very good, but
I've been here. Their first season on iRacing is when I joined them. So I've been here. That was November-ish of 2013, I think. So what is that? 12 years, 13 years? I don't know, but
yeah,
been here a few days.
I think we're the last two OGs
Correct.
still here in the league. So
Yeah, Donnie came not long after I did, and he's stepped away now. So I guess that leaves you and I. So
yeah, we're the old timers.
and I'm old, so that kind of fits, right? I mean,
I'm getting there. That's for sure.
I've passed
Yeah,
it.
I think this Saturday, just talk about this race. I think this Saturday that the strategy going into this race is it's all going to be determined in my opinion by cautions, because if we have a lot of cautions, your strategy is going to change as far as your tire wear goes and when you're going to pit, if you're going to pit. Um, but if we go green for a lot, you're going to see, and then we have one caution, the whole field's going to pit. So your tire change isn't going to matter a lot because if everybody pits at the same time, so I think a lot of it's going to depend on cautions. I think you got to try to get yourself in the position for, you know, to try to plan your race around cautions.
agreed. I'm let's make this thing go green the whole way, and I'll be happy. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always one to really like to try to play strategy with stuff like that. When I know I have an extra set of tires in the pits, my instant thought, already planning, say I was running this race, which I'm not. I didn't win anything, so not able to join. But 125 laps, my goal right there, especially if it's green flag. 75 lap marker is what I'm looking at. If you get a caution around lap 75, what I'll try to do is if there's a caution before that, I will let everybody else go and pit. Hope for another quick caution, which a lot of times you may get. And then if you get that other quick caution, say another 10, 15 laps, hopefully you got that tire wear a little better and you can utilize that to your advantage later in the run. That's my personal take on that. So if you want to talk about strategy, how I would go into that, first would be qualifying. Qualifying's got to be key. And then after that, it's just I'm literally going to be sitting back, riding, the best I can. If the outside lane seems like it's coming in, a little bit later in the race, if we do get a restart, I try to be on the outside, just because you can kind of pin down that person on the inside trying to come off the corner if you need to. But that's definitely my goal. I always try to pass the 50% mark, especially with the late model where the tire wear is. Like I want to be past that and try to utilize having hopefully fresher tires later in the race.
Well, I'll tell you how my strategy normally works out. Whatever I choose, I should have chose the other way. And
Isn't that for everybody?
if like I can tell you right now what's going to happen. Like with your strategy, you're going to say, well, you're going to let everybody pit and then I'm going to go in for the next caution. That next caution never happens. And then I'm
right.
stuck out there on old tires and everybody else has new ones. That's
Yeah.
how it'll work out for me.
That's the gamble. That's always the gamble with that strategy, and it's bitten me more than I think it's helped me. But I still stick with it.
I'm not really one to, and I know I frustrate Soup a lot because I kind of hold my strategy close to me. I don't really like to put it out there for everybody. I'm sure Matt and I will have a conversation before the race starts and, hey, this is what I plan to do. This is what I plan to do, and kind of work together and see if we can figure out something that works for both of us. But, yeah, I'm not going to just throw mine out here for
Not not
everybody.
not giving the information ahead of the big show.
No, because I'm a big fan of. To me, I think, especially on my tire saving, I think my strategy is actually fairly obvious. So I kind of feel like if you can't figure it out by watching me, I'm not going to help you with that.
I like it. I like it. That's a good strategy.
Because it's working to my advantage. Let's just keep it that way then.
John, you running this race?
I think I might, yeah. I mean, I'm qualified. I'm locked in to be there. So, I mean, if I was to, and I don't mind divulging my strategy because I probably won't execute it. So I can make a plan, but probably ain't gonna happen that way. I don't have the talent to make it happen that way. But, um,
I need Phil for this.
I don't know
Phil
that I'll
for
put, I'll try to do my best in qualifying. I think I agree with these guys about qualifying being really important because track, less work you have to put in to get towards the front. Um, I am just truthfully, I'm a mid-pack guy in these cars. So, I would have to have a lot of things fall in the right way for me to be up there and be in contention. So, with that thought process in, um, I think I'll be selective in how I run the first, 20 laps or so, kind of make sure everything, stays under the car. And then the run from, lap 20, 25 to that halfway mark, that's where I'll probably try to get some of my work done and come in, get a new set of tires, see where everything shakes out.
All right, let me make a
And,
note here.
depending on those circumstances, I couldn't even hear it. So
Say
whatever.
Oh, you still can't hear?
Matt's sitting
Matt-
there going, "Oh, let me make a note over here."
He's
Yeah.
taking notes here.
Well, like I said, you know what? I'm no grand strategist, and nor do I have the talent to probably make it. So,
And this
but
is why I don't talk my strategy. So
yeah. Well, and then once I make the pit stop, see where everything sorts out, then that's what I do. You know what? If I'm running with a group of guys, and from fifth to eighth, well, hey, you know what? Us group of guys, we're going to run for that fifth place position. If we're running in the top three, then hey, let me see if I can maintain a podium. If I'm running, eighth, ninth, 10th, it's all about how far forward you can go after it goes. And, there's no sense in trading paint for, ninth, 10th place in this deal. Just go
you
have
sure
fun and
about
have
that?
fun.
So why
I
not?
am sure
Why
about
not?
that. You know what? I believe in trading paint if you're trying to win or get into, all right, you can trade a little bit there, but I don't know. I've never been a big proponent of, okay, I'm not going to move you for ninth place. I'm just not. I don't think I'd move you for second or first. Um, you know, I
I've
might
done it.
do some things. Well, I might do some things to get in your head. Doesn't mean I'm not going to knock on your bumper a little bit, but I'm not going to. That whole bump and run, go in the center of a corner, and knock somebody up out of the way. I really don't do that. What I will do is pop you in the butt going down the front straightaway and maybe close to that turn in to give you that extra speed so you overdrive the corner. Now I'll do that with no problem.
That's
But
what that is.
but there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that'll do it in the center of the corner,
I'll do it at both. I mean,
and I'm not a fan of that. Just because if somebody's got their wheel all the way in, and you hit them in real life, you can catch it. iRacing, it's just too much is out of your thing. And you know what? I don't want a guy full out wrecking me for a win, so I'll try not. Now, if a guy has done it to me, oh hell, yeah, what comes around goes around, no problem. But if a guy hasn't ever done it to me, I won't lay a bumper to him. I might pop him a little bit down the straightaway to say, hey, I'm here. Be aware of it. I'm faster than you. And then they can make their own decisions from there and there. Now, if I start making moves and I see a block, okay, a block is fair. But if I see a double block, that's where I start to lose a little bit of patience there because it's like, okay, you're mirror driving a little too much and you're going to put us both in a really bad spot. I'll lose patience pretty quick there, but that'll be my strategy through the thing. Just, see what's in front of me and then make decisions based on what's in front of me and where we're at in the race. I mean, that's really the simplest way that I can put it. But I'll tell
easiest
you,
thing to think.
well,
Keep in
it
mind.
is.
Keep in mind, 3-tap Teddy rule. I want that in everybody's head going into
Yeah,
this
I
race.
know.
3-tap
Oh,
Teddy
what?
rule. It's in effect.
What is
3-tap
that?
Teddy rule. First
Ted
bump,
Christopher.
I'm there. Second bump, you're in my way. Third bump, I'm moving you. I like it.
Yeah, Earnhardt was pretty good with that, and a few others. Bloomquist was really good with that, and Jack Ingram. was another guy that was really, really good at that. But you know, yeah, that's what these all-star things can kind of bring that stuff out. I mean, let's just be honest. There's not you're not costing anybody anything. It's all for fun and games, and um, I don't know if it will have any effect. I don't think it'll have any effect. Like I said, I tend to just go by that golden rule. Race others as I would want to be raced. If other guys, have not been shy about roughing me up, and I won't name names, but I can think of a couple that have no problem laying the bumper to somebody. Well,
He's got the
okay.
list ready to go.
I don't I don't have to have a list. On stuff like that I remember. I can't remember what I ate last night, but man, I can remember a guy that dumped me, 6 months ago. I
Yep.
remember the turn. I mean, I can even go back to when I've made a mistake. I mean, it's still Holloway. I can tell you, I dumped Holloway in the middle of the straightaway at Nashville a couple years ago because I couldn't see him through my air cleaner, and I moved, and he was there, and we just knocked the whole wall down going into turn one there. I remember that stuff, but like I said, I can't remember what I had for dinner 2 nights ago. It drives my wife crazy too because she'll tell me something. Well, I told you that 5 times, and how do you remember this football score from 1983? you know, I hear that all the time.
Oh, I'm sure we all do.
Yeah, I'm the same way though. I don't forget these things. I don't. I don't necessarily act on them. I don't really
Yeah.
do anything about it, but I remember, and if it builds up, then we might have a problem. So
Is it sometimes if you've ever, John, where you said you've gotten into Holloway, like you remember that, right?
Yeah, I
So,
remember that. It was my
so
fault
the next
100%.
time, no matter how many times he's behind you after that, the only reason this comes up because this actually happened to me this past week, where I unfortunately turned Rob last lap at Charlotte in the first corner. Like my nose got under him more than anticipated, spun him. I felt terrible. Obviously knew it was going to come back at some point, which it did. But the last race, like green white checker, and he's the guy right behind me. In the back of my mind, I'm waiting for it. Like, is he gonna give me the bumper? Is it gonna happen? Like when you guys do that, like does that ever cross your mind when you have that guy? I remember wronging him, once or twice. Is he gonna, try to get me here?
No, and the reason being is I don't make a habit. I mean, we all race, we all make mistakes, we're pushing things. I don't make a habit of moving guys. I know there's a couple of drivers that it's a habit. I've seen them, not be shy about using a bumper. Now, when they get behind me, my first thought, you better not hit me. Because if you hit me, you better get away from me. Because if you don't get away from me, it's coming right back to you. I probably shouldn't say that out loud because the IRT people probably watch this and are going, yeah. But, you know, it, it, it's funny. I mean, even in iRacing, and this is kind of something we've never talked about on the show, but, driver reputation is there. I mean, you do know, even in these things, you do know who you're racing around. Guys that, okay, they're a little unpredictable. They're not necessarily a dirty driver, but they're unpredictable. You either got to get by them quick. You got to get them by in an opportune time where they're not going to maybe look over at you and turn into you or do stuff like that. So driver reputation, to answer your question, that has more to do with than anything. I mean, when I got into Matt, or not Matt, but Mike, for instance, I made a point the next few times that we raced together. I was as clean, and I even cut him. I think I even cut brakes and stuff like that to make sure that he knew, hey, what I did was not intentional. I don't want, because to me that's a communication. I don't want this to go any further. If hey, if he's behind me, you know what, and he's got a nose, instead of trying to make him work for it. Okay, I'll stay high here and let him have it. To me, that's communication. In that, hey, you know, here you go. I'm trying to repay the favor here. I'll do that. I do it all the time. I don't know if everybody does it, and I'm sure that my message probably isn't always conveyed that way, but at least in my mind it is.
it's probably good because I.
What was that, Mike?
Oh, I was having a brain fade moment. Sorry.
I heard two voices at once. So,
Threw me off
um,
too.
yeah, it, like I said, I don't know about you guys. I mean, we talk about that real quick. The etiquette for this particular race. It's a bootleg. It's a BRL shootout. We're not running for points, everything else. But I don't want to use the word settle scores. But guys that have, maybe, I mean, and Mike, take this for instance. You know that I dumped you that one time. Let's just say this happened last week, right? So in this race, do you race guys differently in this one that may have got under your skin more recently? That's the way I'll put it.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't. I don't pay people back.
No, no,
I
I'm not,
don't.
and I'm not saying, I'm not trying to get you to say that, but
So
you
no,
race
this
them a little different.
if if you're like that, if you felt like you owed somebody something, I mean, this might be a good opportunity for it. Sure, I could see that being the case, but I don't really know how much that kind of goes on in this league, though.
It doesn't,
I don't
not that
think
much.
I think most of the guys we got don't really run that way. So I think I look forward to a clean race. I don't see it's always has been in the past. I don't think we've ever had
Yeah.
any issues with it before. So
Well, you're not going to get that with this group of guys, but like I said, we're just talking. Hey, do you race them a little different and things like that? I'll tell you, I'll mess with guys. I'll get up and get close to them and make them worry that payback's coming, and they make a mistake at that point right there.
yeah, I'm the same way. I'll race you different if you clean me out or something. And this might be the perfect race to race somebody different, but I don't think we're really going to see a whole lot of that going on. I think
No.
most guys are there just to race and let's have some fun and treat this race like it should be treated. It's fun. It's kind of a special event. It's here for us, the people who've kind of earned their way into this. So let's treat it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How about you,
I
Matt?
I go into this race thinking as professionalism. I always pride myself on, and as I have over the years, being as clean a driver as possible, and being a guy that if I'm running next to somebody, they know they can race me hard. They know it. I'm not going to do something stupid and all that. But the main thing is for this race is to put on a good show. And, because we're thankful that our sponsor does this every year for us for the last, going on 10 years now. So you want them to keep coming back as a sponsor and keep doing this for the league. And so you got to, you know, prove that it's worth their investment.
I really like that mentality. Yeah, I know it's going to be pretty much everybody across the board at bootleg. Just it's been a product that's gone on for so long. So I know I've only raced a little bit a long time ago, but just watching some of you guys' races, like I expect to see a really good race. Like yeah, we joke about going in there is not as you know a little more light hearted. I guess it's not as serious kind of deal. But just the way you guys are kind of showing it as well is just like the attitude is the same. It's just business as usual. Just go in there, race as respectfully as you can. Yeah, it's racing, things happen, but just the attitude overall. Like sometimes you get people in these races and they just go over their head because they're like, what do we got to lose, right?
Right.
Obviously with the guys at bootleg, I definitely don't see that. I like to joke around a lot about it because sometimes you might try a little harder just because what do you got to lose, right? If you wreck out, that's the end of it. When you didn't really lose anything, you're not losing points, anything like that. But no, it's just definitely it's really cool to see the amount of different people that have that same attitude going into, especially races that may not quote unquote matter as much, but still matter maybe a little more in a different retrospect. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
For sure.
Well, I'd be remiss if we've talked about the history of BRL and all this. The first shootouts were broadcast by our old friends at GSRC and folks like Soup and Sean Abros. Um, we're
That's a name
calling
I
those.
haven't heard in forever.
Yeah, those two guys. I guess we should reminisce a little bit about those early broadcasts and what those are like. I'll start with you, Mike. Do you remember a whole lot about those early broadcasts with those, and
For
what that was
sure.
like watching those? Because
Yeah.
at that time, being broadcasted was actually a relatively new thing that not now every freaking league seems to be broadcast on something, but back
Right.
then it was something kind of new.
Yeah. Yeah. It was exciting. I remember when or it was decided. I won't say we. Again, nobody consulted me when it was decided that we were going to broadcast. I remember thinking, what's the point in that? I mean, but then when we started to do it, you start watching, okay, this is actually kind of cool. So And that was when we had Sean. Soup wasn't there in the original. It was Sean and somebody else. I can't remember his name, but yeah, I remember all the way back then. That was a long time ago.
Oh, that's before Soup's time. Then I kind of thought I didn't go back and watch him. I thought the two of them were on the. Soup had to come in pretty quick after that, though. Probably within those first five somewhere.
I,
Maybe no.
don't get me to lying, man. I don't.
Okay, no, I
I,
just say if you
I'm
remember.
I'm not the guy for that. I don't. I'm not the
You're not
resident
the old.
historian here.
How about you, Matt? First ones were broadcast, like I said, relatively new. And what was your take on the first ones being broadcast like that?
And no, just like Mike, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was something cool because it was new. Um, but um, it was just it made it like when you explain to somebody um that you do sim racing or whatever, and they're like, it didn't like what are you talking about, whatever. But it actually gave you a product to show somebody. It was cool. It just kind of added to it, and
Exactly.
ever since then, it just kind of blew up into something bigger. So
I
Yeah, it's
still
kind of
use
crazy
it.
how this has gone. It's just the way broadcasting has gone in general over the years. It's gotten crazy. I mean, we're doing podcasts like this, just talking about it now. I think it's crazy, but it's really cool because you get a lot of people. It's like, oh, what do you do for a hobby? Oh, sim racing. What is that? Oh, well, instead of let me try to explain it to you,
Let me
here's a
show
video.
you.
Let me show you. Makes it a
I,
lot easier.
I use that one at work quite often. I'm not going to stand here all day explaining this to you. Here, just take my phone and look at this. This
Yep.
is what I do. So it's handy for that.
Oh yeah.
You know what's crazy, and for another league, we ran on GeForce TV for a little bit, and GeForce actually covers Friday nights Weekend Speedway races, and then they broadcasted us over the winter and part of COVID. Well, they dropped broadcasting the iRacing thing because they would have races on, and honest to God, people would show up at the track thinking there was racing going on. And they at that point, you know, quit broadcasting us because of that. They were getting people calling in saying, "Hey, there wasn't a race." Not that you couldn't figure out that that wasn't Oshwegan on their TV, but literally because it was on G-Force and they know it's at the track, people would just see it and go to the track.
Hmm,
True story.
crazy.
Yeah. So it has come a long way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So Josh, you can run that qualifier Saturday.
Might
Oh,
as well.
I can run the qualifier.
Yeah.
You really want granny hips out there? I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with the late model, so I don't know if that'd be the best. But
But what do you got to lose?
uh,
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I tell you, we got to hope that iRacing gets around to getting their setups fixed because I think I've now seen a few things now that where iRacing cars are failing tech. So
oh
hopefully
boy,
we get a build. Yeah, hopefully we get a build this week and or a rebuild or an update or whatever you want to call it. And they get all that. Usually they do get that stuff squared away, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, Josh, you can practice. You know what? It's funny. iRacing's open 24 hours. This internet thing. I know it might catch on eventually, but you can get in there anytime and then turn some laps.
oh
Or
really?
if
I
you
can do that whenever I want, huh?
or if you don't like practice and don't practice and just show up and let's see what you got.
Practice.
What time is that at on Saturday? Does anybody know?
Shame on me. Hang on, now you make me look here.
I was gonna say like I know shame on me. I missed it too, but
I want to say I had the times in front of me. Now I'm
I think
pulling
it's
on my
like
word.
6 o'clock, but I won't swear to it.
Yeah.
is that 6 o'clock your time? I'm on the East Coast.
Nobody does anything 6 o'clock my time.
All right, here we go. Saturday, the 20th, the Stone River Shootout. You know what? In the calendar here, I don't have the exact times, but you know what? Here's another beautiful thing about iRacing. You can go in there and when Lowell puts it in, you can see what time it starts, and there you go.
It's true. You might find me
There,
there. You
it's
might see that black and blue car hanging
all you gotta
around.
do is refer to the email that went out this morning.
That's true.
There, the qualifier race practice starts at 7:05, qualifying at 7:50. There. See how easy that was?
I don't get that email, so
Okay.
Well, I tell you what, guys, I appreciate you coming in here and chit-chatting with us here today and kind of going over what's going on here. And even though we couldn't get strategy out of you, Mike, I guess we'll see it unfold Saturday night, huh?
Hope so.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys coming in here and hanging out with Josh and I a little bit here. And Josh, it's going to be a pretty busy week here for broadcasting here. A lot of stuff on VGN this week. September 16th, Tuesday, which is tonight, the night that this thing's going to air here in the morning. The Yesteryear Tour Modified Series, they're going to be at Langley, and then the next broadcast after that will be Thursday night. That'll be your league. You're going to Bristol. Oh, baby. Bristol, baby. What are you expecting there, Josh?
It's going to be crazy. Just got the setup tested out. Did some laps with that. It's going to be a little bit of a handful to start, but
You're running the tour mods there, right?
It's the tour mod there. Little bumpy, cars bottoming out a little bit, but I think it's going to bring for some great racing. It's going to be kind of chaotic because everything happens so fast. We were running sub 14-second laps. So yeah, this thing is going. So the setup from Team 53, I think, is really good. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. I'd hopefully pull off another win.
Yeah, and then we'll follow that up with Saturday night, September 20th. We are going to do the BRL Stone River Shootout from Southern National. And Josh, we do hope we see you out there. It'll be a lot of fun. Like I said, it's not a big track, but it's fast. It's what I think, to me, it's one of those tracks where I always feel like I can feel the speed that you're actually carrying in that track. I don't know if it's a banking or what, but then we're going to wrap the week up with the OBRL. Yesteryear Cup Series, and we're going to be at New Hampshire Speedway. A lot of history up there, and can't wait to see what those guys do up there at that track. And I get to be on the call for that. Enjoy that, and then we'll see you right here next week for VGN Weekly. So thank you for tuning in this week, and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of VGN Weekly. Join us next time for race recaps, interviews, and much, much more. Please like and subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of our broadcasts. If you are a league owner or potential sponsor and have a broadcasting need, please visit virtualgrip.net for info on how to get in touch with us. This has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network and the Skinner Creek Motorsports Group.